In Luke 14, verse 33, Christ says that if you don't relinquish everything you have, you cannot be his disciple. But holding on to things, being attached to things, and especially identifying with things, is one of our ways of trying to feel safe. The path to maturity that God gives us is the way of the cross, and the cross is a way of not being safe, not being comfortable. The way of the cross is God's way for the universe, because we breathe out and we let go, and then he gives us an in-breath. We die, and then there's resurrection. There's night first, and then there's the day. And there's something of that pattern, exile and return, judgment and restoration, something of that pattern in the life of God himself, in the self-giving of the persons of the Trinity. And that pattern through all history. And then that pattern, obviously, most of all, distilled and transforming in the work of Christ. That death and resurrection pattern, that's the way to maturity. But clearly, death, the way of the cross, it's painful and uncomfortable. So we try to avoid that. We avoid the discomfort of finding ourself wholly in God's regard for us and our relationship with him. That feels too risky to let go of ourself. It is a trust fall to let go of ourself into the hands of God. We'd rather stabilize and identify ourself for ourselves. We want to keep our life rather than lose it. And one of the ways we do that, one of our avoidance tactics of the painful reality which is the path to maturity, we might call attachment or identification. So I attach to my physical health, and if my physical health leaves me, I feel as if myself is falling apart. Or I attach to my possessions, and if my possessions are damaged, if my possessions are damaged, as against your possessions being damaged, then I feel attacked. And anything which is created by God, even though it's good, my physical health, my possessions, my appearance, my achievements, my affiliations, they're good things. But if in those good things, those identifications or attachments, it's there that I place my personhood, or there I seek stability for the self, then those good things have become an idol. So it's no wonder that the Lord Jesus says that if anyone wants to be his disciple, they have to let go of, say goodbye to, release, relinquish their grasp upon everything they have. That's what Abraham did when he was willing to let Isaac go. It's what Paul did when he said, all those things which I used to count as gain, I now count as loss. He let go of his status and his religious purity and his affiliations. He let go of those things. And if we're to walk the way of the cross, the pain will be the letting go, the saying no to a false self. But saying no to a false self is itself a saying yes to Christ, our true self. So the avoidance tactic of attachment, identification, though we deploy it to avoid pain, actually leads to the avoidance of glory.